They have encouraged you to be a nice guy, to declaw and defang yourself. I'm encouraging you to grow your claws and fangs back out because that's what a man is.
Welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show.
Who is the most dangerous man in the world? Friends, welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show. My name is Bedros Keuilian. Today, we're going to talk about the most dangerous man in the world. Now, if you're wondering who the most dangerous man in the world is, I'm going to tell you it is the man who is got nothing to lose. A man that's got nothing to lose is truly the most dangerous man in the world, because once you have nothing to lose in life, then you are an absolute reckless human being, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you are massively dangerous. Now, the second most dangerous man in the world is someone who is not intelligent. Someone who is not intelligent and doesn't have emotional discipline is the second most dangerous person, simply because they, how do I say this for lack of it, they overestimate their abilities. See, when someone's not intelligent, they overestimate their abilities. In fact, I read a stat just the other day, and the stat said something to this effect. It said, dudes who have never been in combatives, they have never boxed, no Muay Thai, no martial arts, no jujitsus, any of that stuff. When you go, hey man, if a fight broke out here and you were in it, how would you defend yourself? Do you think you would win? The average man overestimates their abilities by 4,000%. And I say unintelligent because they don't have the intelligence of understanding what a true fight is, what combat is. And this episode is not about fighting and any of that stuff, but that same man overestimates his abilities in other areas. And that same man says, oh, you know, I look fine. I'm not fat. I'm not out of shape. And then, you know, they overestimate their health, and then boom, they have a stroke, they have hypertension, they have a heart attack. And so that's why the second most dangerous man on the planet is the unintelligent, emotionally and mentally inept man. But we're not here to talk about these two types of men. We're here to talk about you and how you can become dangerous. The other day, I wrote a post, and it seemed to have gone viral, and I think it's because everybody can relate to it in this time when everyone says the world is toxic, masculinity is toxic, men are toxic, everything men want to do is toxic. And here's what I wrote, and you tell me if this resonates with you in the comment section or not. So I wrote, be hard to kill, be easy to love, be kind with your words, be generous with your time, be ready to strike, be controlled with your temper, be open to growth, be willing to heal, be protective of your reputation, be respectful of all, be ready with a plan for violence. Fellas, masculinity is a gift from God, and it's to be shared with humanity. Never dim your light. That post went viral, and I believe that post went viral because every dude can relate to it. We can be both lions and lambs, as my dear friend John Lovell would say. And if you can be a lion and a lamb, then you can be hard to kill and easy to love. You would be someone who is looking to heal, but someone who knows how to deploy violence. You will be respectful of all, but you will also be protective of your reputation. And you will also know how to deploy violence if you can't talk your way out of that violence. And the reason I'm really making this episode for you guys is because I feel that men are starting to lose their ability to be dangerous. And I need you guys to understand that the most dangerous, the kind of dangerous man that I love and that I respect is the man who he's spiritually dangerous. He's someone who is connected to faith, believes in himself and a higher power, believes that he will follow through what he says he would do. He's not a promise breaker to himself. He is spiritually dangerous because he has a belief in the higher power. He has a belief in himself. He has belief in the people around him. And this makes him spiritually dangerous. I want you to be physically dangerous as well. The man who's physically dangerous, who's fit, who's athletic, who's strong, who's courageous, who's got the ability to fight, but the sense to avoid it. This man is an asset to humanity and not a liability. When we are not physically dangerous, guys, you become a liability to your family and to humanity. What happens if you end up having a heart attack or a stroke? What happens if you have diabetes or hypertension? What happens if you get cancer because of your lifestyle that you could have easily changed to put yourself in a position to live a decade or 2 decades longer? What is the burden that you're putting on your family, on your country, on your community, on the people who love you, both financial burden and emotional burden, if you are not physically dangerous? When I say physically dangerous, I mean to be fit. I mean to be athletic as you can be. I'm 50 years old and I'm as athletic as I could be at 50. I'm not as formidable as I was in my 20s and 30s, but I'm still a physically formidable man. In 60, I will be as physically dangerous as I can at 60. I will do everything I can to put off and prolong being a liability to my family, to my friends, to my workplace, to my community, to my country. I want to be an asset. And that is someone that is physically fit, healthy, athletic, lean, disease-free, and takes the precautions to do what is required to maintain that health, to be physically dangerous, whether that is the ability to box or Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu or any other form of martial arts. But that doesn't mean you have to deploy it. That is a physically dangerous man. And I also respect and love a man who is financially dangerous. A man who knows how to earn money, budget his money, invest his money so he can grow it, use his money to be generous and to help out churches and charities and causes that he believes in. A man that is financially dangerous can never be controlled by the opposition. A man who is financially dangerous can never be bought, can never be sold. A man who is financially dangerous has more options, is able to give his family a better quality of life, more experiences, keep them safer. It is our duty and responsibility as men to be spiritually, physically, financially dangerous. But that's not enough, because we must also be relationally dangerous. In other words, a man who's a lone wolf is oftentimes suffering with anxiety, depression, overwhelm, and feels like a pariah. We are meant to be tribal. We are meant to have relationships with other men who are like-minded, who are as capable, who are as confident. We are meant to have families. We are meant to have community. And if you are not relationally dangerous, the lone wolf will not survive. The wolf pack is strong. The wolf pack looks after itself. The lone wolf will not survive. And you can call yourself whatever you want. I'm a Sigma male, or I'm a lone wolf. I enjoy being alone. But to what cost? What happens if the poop hits the fan? What happens as you get older and you don't have a tribe to belong to, that you haven't contributed to that tribe so that tribe can look after you? Like, I'm so grateful and thankful that I have such a tribe of people, from family to friends to coworkers, who would look after me and mine. God forbid I become unable to provide and to continue to do what I do. Relationally dangerous men are never alone. Let's be honest, fellas. It is difficult being a man at times. It is difficult to just suck it up and keep moving forward. It is difficult to keep a stiff upper lip. It is difficult to keep pushing through life when you constantly hit a wall, when the world keeps shitting on you, when you're constantly facing adversity. and having a friend or two or three, a family who you love and you trust. These are people that you can talk to. These are people that will help you carry that burden when that burden gets heavy. And if you don't have relational fitness, if you are not dangerous in that way, then you become a target. That's just how it is. People who are alone are targets, not only targets of bad guys, but you're a target of depression. You're a target of debt. You're a target of sadness. You're a target of anxiety. You want a tribe. But it doesn't stop there. I want you to be mentally dangerous. I want you to be emotionally dangerous. And what I mean by that is to begin to build mental toughness. Adversity inoculation. There's study after study after study that have shown that people who deal with small amounts of adversity throughout a prolonged period of time become more resilient and resourceful people over time. They did these studies on children, sadly, who were neglected, who were abused, who dealt with hardship and continued to push through life. These children became adults who are more mentally tough and emotionally resilient once they healed from the trauma, the abuse, and fell back in love with themselves, right? They fell back in love with themselves. They forgave. They didn't forget, but they forgave. Maybe you need to forgive your mom and dad for the way they raised you, for the way they abused you. Maybe it's the bullies. Maybe it's an uncle. Maybe it's someone who did something wrong. Maybe you were physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually abused. I can check off every single one of those boxes. But if you haven't healed, you haven't built mental toughness, you haven't inoculated yourself to adversity and hardship. And that means mentally fragile people, mentally fragile men become very dangerous, because at some point we slide into darkness and we go, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose. And remember what I said, a man who's got nothing to lose is the most dangerous type of man. And we want to be an asset to humanity, not a liability. We want to be an asset to our community. We want to be an asset to our family. We want to be an asset to our work. And if you're a liability because you're not mentally tough, you're not mentally resilient, you don't have mental fortitude, the ability to push through adversity and know that everything will be okay, that this is not the end, that this is temporary defeat, not permanent failure. That is mental toughness. A mentally dangerous, emotionally dangerous man knows that adversity will come. Hard times will come. Winter will come. But it is a season. It is not a place that you will live forever. And a mentally and emotionally dangerous man is able to get past the hard seasons faster, and they're able to prolong the good seasons longer. Contrary, a mentally and emotionally weak man doesn't recognize when they're in the best seasons of their life, and when they slide into the harder, more challenging seasons of their life, they fall apart. They lean into the alcohol, the drugs, the pornography, the food, the television, the screens to escape that reality. Those addictions that you're dealing with to mask the pain and to escape that reality. The only reason those are happening is because you haven't taken the time to heal through the traumas. You haven't taken the time to heal through the adversity. It's not fair that bad things happen to you. It's not fair that she cheated on you. It's not fair that they beat you. It's not fair that they called you names. It's not fair that they put you in the back of the class. It's not fair that they made fun of your clothes and your haircut and your accent and the color of your skin. It's not fair that they touched you in that way. It's not fair. But you've got to heal. You've got to overcome. You've got to forgive. Never forget, show yourself grace, fall back in love with yourself, understand that all those things that happened to you that were not fair were layers and layers and layers of armor being built for you. Those were layers of armor being built so you can be dangerous in the best possible way. I want your enemies to choke on your success. I want the people who wronged you to reach out to you one day and go, see, I knew you were going to do it. I knew you could do it. I believed in you. And I want you to feel the confidence to not respond. I want you to feel the confidence to not respond. That is how you win. Hey guys, quick interruption to the show. Let me tell you all about the Keuilian Wellness Shot. If you're like me and you care about your health, hydration, and building a strong immune system so you can stay active and you can get after it in life, then you want to try the Keuilian Wellness Shot. I used to take 11 different supplements in the morning, things like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, echinacea, ginger, and a whole bunch more. Now it's all included in the Keuilian Wellness Shot. I want to send you a 30-day supply for 50% off. Just go to Keuilian.com, use the code word BEDROS, my name, to get 50% off. You'll also get free shipping. You get a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee, and $1 of every order goes to Shriners Children's Hospital. And when you use the code word BEDROS and do the subscribe and save, which is a Keuilian Tribe program, every month you'll get a fresh supply of Keuilian Wellness Shots for an additional 20% off and free shipping, and $1 of every monthly order will go to Shriners Children's Hospital. So go to Keuilian.com, use code word BEDROS, and take advantage of this amazing offer. Now back to the show. Fellas, I'm telling you this right now. We have gotten soft. They call us toxic because we have ambition, we have drive, we have this desire to accumulate wealth and to build monuments to ourselves and to create businesses and to build brands and to be known and recognized. That is what a man is. That is very masculine. As my friend Jack Donovan says in his book, The Way of Men, 4 things. And 3 of these 4 things, the modern system, the opposition, considers toxic. But Jack Donovan in his book, The Way of Men, says it's these 4 things that make a man a man. Strength, physical, mental, emotional strength, courage, honor, mastery. The strength, the physical, emotional, mental strength, courage, the ability to do the right thing, to run towards danger, to protect, to be fit enough, to be courageous, to be sound enough to know that you can deploy whatever level of violence you need to if you can't talk your way out of it or prevent yourself from getting in it in the first place. Honor, as in, are you an honorable man, a respectful man, a man of values, a man of integrity, a man of moral character? A man that has his compass dialed in to true north. Do you know what your true north is? That is honorable. That is an honorable man, a man that is respected. And mastery. What skills do you have? What skills can you bring to the table, to the tribe? They call us toxic, though, for all those traits. You're not. Your masculinity is a gift from God. You must become highly dangerous in the areas of spiritual danger, financial danger, physical danger, relational danger, mentally and emotionally dangerous, so that you can become unfuckwithable. You can develop a high level of bounce back ability. I'm just going to create my own words now. Think about that, though. A man who is spiritually dangerous, physically dangerous, financially dangerous, relationally dangerous, mentally and emotionally dangerous, that man is unfuckwithable. You can't fuck with that man. There's just no way of stopping that dude. Just shit just rolls off their back. Look how many YouTube videos are out there hating on me and what I do with the project. I don't care. I know the change that we have created in men through the project. I know the many lives that we have saved of men who were thinking about taking their own lives. I know the relationships that we have created, a brotherhood bond that we have made. Because I've chosen to toughen myself up. Now, if I didn't do all that, when these YouTube videos came out hating on me, and guess what happens next? I start sulking. I would start feeling bad for myself. I'd go and start trying to defend myself. And for what? For what? I'm a man on a mission. I'm going places. I'm changing lives. I have a brotherhood of over 200 men that have gone through the project who are evidence, proof, walking, talking, undeniable evidence of what we have done with the project. Do you think that I care that someone creates a YouTube video or CNN puts out an entire segment about us creating the alpha male boot camp? We haven't once used the term or the words alpha male, not on the project website, not during the project itself. But that's what they will say. But I don't care. It doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me. Because when you're on a mission and when you know what your true north is, they can say anything they want about you. And so I say this. It is time for you to reclaim your masculinity. And a man who is masculine to me is spiritually dangerous. Like, you must have faith in yourself, in a higher power, in the people around you. And if you're like, man, I can't trust the people around me, I don't have faith in them, then I say find better people. Spiritually dangerous, physically dangerous. Get fit, get athletic, learn combatives. That doesn't mean you have to learn to use them. That doesn't mean you have to go look for problems and fights. In fact, each time throughout my life as I got better at combat, I walked away from more fights. I talked my way out of fights. Because I realized even if I get in a fight, if I can't talk my way out of it, and I couldn't prevent from getting into it, I do know even if I win the fight, and those of you listening on the podcast, I'm using the quotes, if I win the fight, I'm still going to be hurt. You're still going to be hurt. There's no one that walks away from a fight that's not hurt. Just hopefully if all went well, the other guy's more hurt. He stopped the attack. That you had enough mental and emotional danger, wisdom, ability, capacity to stop the violence once the threat was over. To talk your way out of it because your ego didn't get in the way. They will call you toxic for wanting to make more money, for wanting to be fit, for wanting to be physically dangerous, for being spiritually connected, for building a tribe, for being mentally and emotionally tough. They will call you toxic. What you have to do, on the other hand, is keep being more toxic anyway. Because if that's what toxic is, I want more of it. I truly do. That is the way of men. It is men like that I described. Men like you, or the future version of you, who are willing to speak their mind and to stand up for what's right. Let's use a little example before we wrap this episode up. Good old Mark Zuckerberg. Now, we all know Mark Zuckerberg, and for a lack of a better term, Mark Zuckerberg started off as maybe a little bit, some would say he was nerdy. Some would say Mark Zuckerberg was a little meek. Some would say Mark Zuckerberg was not a confident man, and he hid behind his hundreds and millions of billions of dollars. And when he was weak and meek and a pushover and insecure little nerd, he was easier to manipulate. When the big government said, hey, we want you to suppress certain things on social media, on your platforms, he agreed to it, both during the last election and also during the COVID pandemic. But what happened with Mark Zuckerberg the last couple of years? Well, he started to learn combatives. He's not going to UFC fights, and we could see him on TV and in the audience with Dana White. He's learned jiu-jitsu and MMA. He's lifting weights. He's getting jacked. He's developing confidence. And what did he do? Just a month and a half ago, he put out a letter. Y'all saw it. It was all over social media. He put out a letter saying, hey, last election time, we were bullied, for lack of a better term. He said, we were bullied by the Democratic Party to suppress and fact check certain things against their opposition. This time around, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be bullied. I'm standing up for myself, and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. I hope it's a fair election, but we're not going to meddle in the election, because that's really what it was. Fake fact checkers and all of this stuff that end up suppressing information so you can only hear one side of it. And you know, it happened with Twitter too, until Elon Musk bought Twitter, changed it to X, and we saw and we heard that there was literally the FBI was actively pressuring Twitter into suppressing certain content and allowing other content to be seen and heard, to adjust and change their narrative. But I'm proud of Mark Zuckerberg, because he's done the self-work physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And when you do that, you become a dangerous man. And he stood up for himself and said, this time around, please do not come and try and manipulate my companies, my platforms, and threaten me, and then ask me to suppress certain information. Can you see how important and valuable it is to begin to build yourself into a dangerous man? A man who can't be pushed over, a man who can't be bought and sold, a man who can't be fucked with, and a man who can bounce back when he falls on his ass, because as men, we do fall on our ass. We take risks, we take challenges, we push through adversity, and sometimes the decisions we've made puts us on our ass. And when it does, it takes all those skills, all those traits to bounce back. Fellas, I am rooting for you. I am rooting for you to bring back your masculinity. It was never toxic. The only toxic men that exist are men who are nice guys. You've heard of those nice guys. Not a good man. A good man is different than a nice guy. Oh, he's a nice guy. He's a big pushover. Oh, I could manipulate my husband to do whatever I want. He's a nice guy. You've seen those nice guys depicted on TV shows where they're dopey and dumb. They don't know their way around unless their woman tells them what to do and how to do it and solves the problem for them. They have encouraged you to be a nice guy, to declaw and defang yourself. I'm encouraging you to grow your claws and fangs back out, because that's what a man is. A man, as Jordan Peterson says, is someone who can be dangerous, formidably dangerous, but have enough self-control and self-worth and self-values and intelligence to control that danger unless it's necessary to deploy it. And I want you to be spiritually, physically, financially, relationally, mentally, and emotionally dangerous. I would love nothing more for you to win your mental freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom, physical freedom. But you got to stop giving a shit. You got to stop caring about what they think. Those labels mean nothing. And the moment you stop thinking and caring about what they think, you have won your freedom. Fellas, do the work. I'm rooting for you. And always remember this, that average is the enemy. Success is your responsibility. And change can take place in an instant if you are willing to flip the switch. I'll see you next time.